Well, good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of Porch Talk. I, of course, am Paul W. Marino, and for reasons unknown, my co-host Eugene Michaelenko of Adams is not here. I don't know, well, as I just said, I don't know why he's not here. So I'm going to do a short show tonight, and I will touch base with him and find out why in blazes he's not coming. And I'm sure it's just forgetfulness on his part. And of course, it's October 6th, and we are live here. I do have a couple of announcements to make, but before I get to them, I am going to point out once again the photo behind me. Joanne? There we go. Oh, I'm lost now. Help! Help! Where am I? I am stuck behind this photograph. Just like the last time I was here, alone and all by myself. All by myself. Well, at any rate, it's a two-part question. Where was this photo taken? And I think that's easily recognizable. And the other part of the question is, when was it taken? Call me up before 6:30 and take a guess. If you are right on the first part of the question, where was this photo taken, you will get the bragging rights. Of course, if you can tell me the second part, when was it taken, and I don't just mean in the winter, tell me what year it was taken, and that'll give you even more impressive bragging rights that should last you for 2 weeks. So, where was this photo taken, and what year was it taken? Thank you, Joanne. Oh, there I am again. Oh, you poor audience. Well, fortunately, there's only 2 of you, so who cares? Well, the first announcement that I have is this coming Monday, which will be the 9th, unless I'm very much mistaken. Monday the 9th at 12 noon, there is going to be a ceremony at City Hall to rededicate the plaque commemorating the former mayor, William Kirk Greer. He was the agent in charge of the Hoosick cotton mills, which were in what's now the Eclipse Mill. And he died unexpectedly in 1945. And 2 years later, the management in Boston came together with the local labor force and directed this tablet in his memory in the warp room of the mill, which was in the oldest part of the mill, which is now gone, but it was up closer to the Eclipse Dam. And so it was there. It was unveiled, like all monuments, it was unveiled with great fanfare, but it was only seen by people who worked in the mill. And when that part of the mill was torn down, I assumed that the plaque had become invisible the way all monuments do and disappeared. That is, went out with the rest of the rubble. Well, last year, 2022, I was contacted by the late Mr. Greer's great-grandson, who was also named William Kirk Greer, although he uses the middle name Kirk as his first name. Come to find out, when that part of the mill came down, that tablet was taken out and was given back to the family. So the family has had it in their possession ever since that mill was torn down, and Kirk wants to give it back to the city so that it can be displayed publicly. He was initially thinking of in or on the Eclipse Mill, but of course the city does not own that. It's privately owned. So I had a talk with the mayor, and it is going to be put on the outside of City Hall. You know, those columns that go up to support the overhanging second floor? It's going to be put on one of those. And Monday the 9th at noon, we are having an unveiling ceremony. I will be speaking, Kirk will be saying something, and the mayor will be saying something, and then ultimately she and Kirk will do the unveiling, and then we'll go inside where refreshments will be waiting. So please come to that. This is a wonderful way of bringing a monument back to North Adams that honors someone who did something that very few mill owners have ever been able to do, and that is to have the admiration of his employers who own the mill, but also have the admiration of the people who worked under him. Now, in all my travels, I've only heard of one other mill owner who was like that, and that was William Johnson of Endicott Johnson Shoes in Binghamton. And he paid his workers a living wage, built housing for them, built churches, not just churches that he would go to, but he built Methodist churches and Baptist churches and congregational churches and Roman Catholic churches. And besides that, he also erected a number of carousels all over Binghamton and in surrounding communities. And the only stricture that he left on it was no child should ever have to pay to ride the merry-go-round. And this was because when he was a little boy, he could not afford the penny that it cost to ride the carousel. So when he became rich and he built carousels of his own, no child should ever have to pay. And of course, now that they have to be maintained and not so cheaply, the city of Binghamton has gotten clever in how they can get children to pay for the ride without actually having to pay money. And my brother used to live just down the street from one of those carousels. And when it's running now, the only cost to ride it is any piece of paper. So, and it's in the middle of a park, so children can go around picking up bits of scrap paper, which is good for the city, and then hand those scraps in, and they'll get to ride the carousel, which is good for them. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. And in fact, my brother, who was a minister, now retired, One of his churches was one built by Mr. Johnson and named after his mother, the Sarah Jane Johnson Methodist Church. And it caused a little private joke in our family because our mother's name was Sarah Jane. So once again, the announcement is Monday the 9th at 12 noon. Be at City Hall to see the unveiling of the William Kirk Greer plaque. It's not just a nice monument that pays homage to an important man in North Adams. It was a man who was able to please his employers as well as keep his employees happy. But it's also significant for another reason. All monuments become invisible. They are unveiled with great fanfare, but then they promptly fade into the background, and people walk past them every day without seeing them. And I'm just as much at fault in this myself, because when I was a kid, I walked down street to go to the Y, and I'd walk home again after. And every time we went, my brother and I passed the Marshall Street gate, where there's a monument indicating that this was where the Johnson Grays bivouacked before they went to join the Army to serve in the Civil War. It's where Camp Johnson was. And now I do notice monuments, and I like to bring them to the attention of other people too. This is the monument, however, that never became invisible. So please join us at City Hall on Monday the 9th at noon to see the unveiling of the William Kirk Greer plaque, and enjoy the speeches, which will be brief, and be sure to join us for some of the refreshments. The other announcement that I have is that next Friday, now this is the 6th, so that will be the 13th, Friday the 13th. Oh, what a wonderful date. Well, it is a wonderful date because that is when the Northern Berkshire Community Coalition will be having their October forum on the concourse in North Adams, 85 Main. It's in the space occupied by, oh great, I can't remember it now. But you'll see the signs. There will be signs out. Come and join us. I've said it before, and I will say it again ad infinitum if necessary. If you have never been to a forum of the Northern Berkshire Community Coalition, you will never forgive yourself if you miss it. And neither will I. I will come and glare at you. Like that. So, and if worst comes to worst, I'll do something even worse. I'll kiss you in front of your friends. Ha ha! So, those are the two announcements. If you want to call in and take a guess about the picture, at least the location, please, the location is obvious. Please give me a call at 664-4408. You have about 12 minutes, 12 and a half minutes. So please give us a call. Give me a call. So, Eugene, what have you been up to lately?
Oh, not much.
The same as usual. Really? Well, that's very interesting. Yes, isn't it? Yes, and notice that Eugene is invisible tonight. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, I like it. Good, so do I. All right, so we now have, oh my goodness, 12 and a half minutes, and I didn't bring myself any water. I'll get some on the way out. Come on, give me a call and take a guess. The year, unless you've been on my Main Street walk, you're probably not going to get, unless you've read my Main Street walk on my website. If you have, you can guess this because you've seen this picture before. But at least give me a call and take a guess as to the location. If you think you don't know, you'll kick yourself when you hear it. So, Joanne, how would you like to come out and talk with me for a bit? No, Joanne, you're shaking your head in the wrong way. You're supposed to shake it like this. No, you're still doing it wrong. You're doing it this way, which means no. You're supposed to be doing it this way, which means yes, right? She's still not getting it. Oh, what a shame. I was hoping that Joanne could win the $60 million prize I had riding on that question, but she didn't get it, so I'm going to have to give it to whoever can tell me where that picture was taken and what year it was taken. The phones are waiting desperately for your calls. 664-4408. If you just want to call me in and tell me to shut up, feel free, because I'm not the kind of person who keeps talking when people want me to shut up. When someone tells me to shut up, I just shut up, because I'm not the kind of person that'll keep talking on and 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 on when someone wants them to shut up. You can ask Joanne. She'll tell you, when people want me to shut up, I shut up. So you just call in and tell me to shut up, and I'll shut up. You don't need to hit me with a brick, though you can if you want to. So, just a quick reminder that on Monday, October 9, at 12 o'clock noon, we are unveiling a plaque dedicated to the memory of William Kirk Greer. He was not a son of North Adams, except in the sense that he was an adopted son of North Adams. He was a native of Philadelphia, and when he settled here in North Adams and went into business, he began serving on the city council, served as mayor for a single one-year term, and at the time of his death, he was also the president of the North Adams Savings Bank, and I don't mean North Adams Hoosick. The Hoosick Bank became North Adams Hoosick Savings when they absorbed the North Adams Savings Bank. Then, of course, at some point, they went back to just being the Hoosick Bank, and now, of course, they're Mountain One. Isn't that wonderful? So I see by the old clock on the wall, there's only 8.5 minutes to go. Please call me, 664-4408. You can tell me to shut up. You can tell me to stop crying because I'm a big baby. You can take a guess as to the photo. You can ask me what idiotic book I have here on the table, though it's not really an idiotic book. It is an excellent book. Um, so, I used to be able to talk for 3 solid hours. Well, not 3 solid hours, but my cemetery walks took up to 3 hours, and I could keep an audience engaged for all that time. Now it's getting harder. Well, of course, I'm getting older, like anyone isn't. If there's anyone out there who isn't getting older, please call in at 664-4408 and let me know, because I would love to make your acquaintance. Oh, that's another thing I can do. I can make faces at you. All right, that's enough of that. Let me see. I have just under 7 minutes left. Joanne, shall I give away the picture at this point? Oh, yes, she's nodding her head no. I mean, yes, she's nodding her head. All right. Folks, if you're watching, get ready, stand up and be ready to kick yourselves. This was taken on Eagle Street here in North Adams. If you look to the right of your screen, you can see one corner of the Baptist Church. And just beyond that, you can see the building that Jack's Hot Dogs is in, and moved into that building in 1917. Beyond that, I believe you can make out the Flatiron Building. Although there is another one in the middle there between them. Actually, there's a couple of others in between them. Now, as for what year the photo was taken, this was taken in 1888, the year of the blizzard. This was a horrendous winter all across the northern part of this country. Out west, a couple of cowboys froze to death on their horses, and neither one fell over until the spring thaw came and all the snow melted. Here in North Adams, all that snow was shoveled off the sidewalk and into the street, all done by hand. All right, and of course now, when we shovel the sidewalk, we just make as narrow a pile as we can between the sidewalk and the street. But of course, in the days before cars, someone in a sleigh, if they could get up there, they could travel over it. Although I'm not sure how the horses would have managed in the snow of that depth. Well, at any rate, that's the picture. I'm sorry no one called in with a guess about that. Thank you, Joanne. I was getting lonely out here. Little kids love that, Okay, so I have 3 3/4 minutes, and I don't see any point in staying on much longer than this. So I'm going to bid you farewell. I will see you 2 weeks from now, which will be the 13th, which will be the 19th, Friday the 19th, 6 o'clock here on Porch Talk. Thank you, Joanne. I love you more than ever. Thank you for watching. See you in 2 weeks.